Your clan has traditionally been on the fringes of vampire society. In general, Gangrel, Malkavians, the Nosferatu are all low clans, with the Brujah and Tremere being grouped in depending on the domain. You have access to the low rungs of society, and your less refined blood marks you as a source of rebellion and counterculture. Though your peers may consider you beneath them, the underbelly of society and access to it comes with some surprising benefits that you have learned to harness. Greetings, kindred. I am voivodemekhet, and welcome back to our World of Darkness and the Laws of the Night playlist. In this playlist, we go over LARP, live action roleplay rules for Vampire the Masquerade, which are presented to us by Mind's Eye Theater and by Night Studios. So, Loresheets in the book are marked down as a special type of background advantage. You can buy these at character creation, or with your storyteller's permission, you can buy them after your character's already been in play for some time. This is something that you're going to want to talk to your storyteller about, because not all Loresheets will fit within the confines of a chronicle. Loresheets are a special way of not only giving your character a special advantage or advantages in gameplay, but also tying them in to the overall background meta plot within the Vampire the Masquerade storyline. I have found as a storyteller that Loresheets tend to be ignored at character creation just because it's a new mechanic and people don't exactly know what it is. Now, depending on when you're watching this, or even in your chronicle setting, this might not be true for you. You could very well have a game there people are obsessed with Loresheets, and with good reason. People who are used to playing Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition tabletop will know the benefits of Loresheets and exactly what they can do for your character. And there are several options in Laws of the Night and in future publications coming out from by Night Studios. That being said, I do want to point out that Loresheets are a lot different in LARP than they are in tabletop. In the tabletop setting of Vampire the Masquerade, Loresheets are going to add a special nuance to your character sheet. You might get a bump here and there in a background or even a discipline power because you have an associated Loresheet. However, in LARP, Loresheets tend to be a heavier hitting mechanic. They give you massive advantages. And they also should be something that are limited in a game. Maybe only allowing a certain number of people out of a larger group to take that amount. Or you could build an entire chronicle completely around a Loresheet. Another huge difference from tabletop to LARP is that, much like all other backgrounds in LARP, the Loresheets are limited to 3 different advantages instead of 5 as they are in tabletop, as there is a condensed way of running things as with all backgrounds in LARP compared to tabletop. Purchasing Loresheets can be done with your free points at character creation. At character creation, you get 7 free background traits, and you are completely allowed to dump those points into a Loresheet, getting those free dots. And I want to stress that very much because there's a difference between dots and experience traits. At character creation, you will be given a free amount of experience traits to flesh out your character, to make them an individual. And when you have those are to be spent as experience points. Backgrounds are purchased at 3 experience per dot. But with your 7 free traits of dots, you can just take the points completely without worrying about the expanded cost when it comes to experience. That being said, if you wanted to buy the Sect Veteran Loresheet, for example, taking that would cost you 6 of your 7 free dots of backgrounds. However, if you're going to buy it with your free XP at character creation, it would cost you 3 points for a level 1, 6 points for a level 2, and 9 experience points for a level 3. Bring the total to 18 points if you wanted to buy a complete lore sheet. Now, personally, I am the kind of person who likes to buy things little by little over time so that my character has a chance to grow into what those advantages are. That is my style of playing. It is not the only style of playing. And being able to start with a small amount of a lore sheet to build up the tension is a lot of fun. With that being said, you do not have to buy these in order of experience. You do not have to start with level 1. You could very well start with the 3-point background instead, because what these are associated advantages with the meta plot that your character can take advantage of in any order they wish. You could buy a 1, you could buy 1 and a 3, you could buy just the second one. You can do it any way you want to. And that needs to be kept in mind, that these are not a progression style trait. In that way, multiple characters could start with the same lore sheet and have completely different advantages for taking it. So on the opposite side of the coin of the high clans come the low clans. And some might argue that there are better benefits on this lore sheet than there are on the high clan lore sheet, which could very well be the case, because sometimes you're more restricted by higher status than you are of lower. So let's just see what are the options when it comes to low clan. Investing 1 dot into this lore sheet gets you thick hide. You are used to being snubbed by people who think themselves better than you, and you do not respond easily to their provocations. Once per session, you can automatically succeed on a frenzy test caused by being insulted, embarrassed, or humiliated by a vampire who is publicly known to being a member of a high clan. You also gain the first 2 dots of the streetwise and subterfuge skills. So I want to point out that this is almost identical to Peacock when it comes to what you get. You get to ignore insults and frenzy tests when it comes to people of a higher station than you insulting you in some fashion. And instead of getting high class abilities, you get lower class abilities. Streetwise is very, very important for people who are on the street. And subterfuge can really help when it comes to lying your way through a social situation. Investing 2 dots into this lore sheet gets you uncanny kinship. You have earned a reputation as someone who helps the low clans stick together. While this gains you no love from the high clans, your friends among the low clans support you and help you make connections easily. You can select 5 dots from the mask, familiar, haven, or allies backgrounds, and their associated advantages representing their support. Again, this is a situation where it is mirroring the high clan's friends in high places. You get to know people based off who you know. And with this one, it kind of, I really think that possibly they should have talked about the types of influence spheres this gets into. But truthfully, no matter where you are in society, you could have friends in various places. So I do think it's fair to keep that open to the way that any of these situations could run. Investing 3 dots into this lore sheet gets you critical incident. You have all the support and connections that you need to create chaos for another vampire's networks. Once every 6 months, you may target another vampire who is known to you and sacrifice up to 10 of your own mortal connection dots for up to 3 months. The target vampire loses an equal number of mortal connection dots for an equal amount of the time. If your target has fewer mortal connection dots than you sacrifice, you regain any extra dots. After the time elapses, all lost mortal connection dots are regained immediately. If you have specific backgrounds you want to target, you may tell your storyteller. Work with your storyteller and the other player to determine the story of what occurred in the incident. Now, this one steps way outside the guardrails when it comes to how High Clan worked. This one right here allows you to basically screw them over and completely take away all of their background traits depending on how many points you can invest into this. This gets pretty nasty, and I like the fact that it says that you can actually specifically state that you want to take out certain ones if you know what they are. This right here can lead to a war, and I love it because it could open up the fact that like people don't know who's attacking them, like which way things are going to go socially. This could ruin a character, which is kind of the point if you're attacking, if you're using this as a combat, as a social maneuvering tactic. So Low Clan, in my opinion, as much as I love the High Clan lore sheet, really does have a lot of amazing benefits. The first two are very similar, but obviously they're Low Clan directed. But the idea of what you can do with that third level just kind of messes like with the status quo, and I love it. So we just went over the Low Clan's lore sheet in Vampire the Masquerade LARP, and there really are a lot of benefits that you could take from this. I am voivodemekhet. This is our world of darkness, and we have just putting along through the laws of the night when it comes to the lore sheets. And I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one. Good evening.